3 years.
3 years, okay, in that case, I wanna know why the installer cemented the cover. That makes no sense.
So, it actually gets fun.
No, okay. So,
So, I,
remember when I said you seal the holes around the box? I never said in the reg, you seal the cover down.
well, exactly, and that's what I figured happened, was that someone completely misinterpreted your reg.
Seal the whole.
But
cover
the thing
around.
is, so. Engineer who designed the system is Seth LaJoy,
Okay,
and then the, installer was John Vadney.
well,
Yeah,
John would never do that. No.
and then Bruce approved of the
Fine,
plan.
that would never.
So I
happen
was
like that.
like, it went through three reputable people,
Right,
and this still happened.
right.
So I don't know how this
So
happened.
put it this way here, my comment to you was, hopefully you didn't bury it. Because if it's not too deep, I just put a piece of plywood, put a rock on it.
It was not too deep.
Okay.
I think he did bury it, but it wasn't, but
Okay,
what
well,
we did
here's what you
was, so
Your
what,
microphone is live. Vinny,
Okay,
okay?
thank you.
allow recording, yes. Wait, what did that say?
It's live going out.
Okay,
Oh, okay.
it's not about the meeting at all, it's about an inspection.
I was asking, I was filling Vinny in on there was a Title V related issue that I
No,
ran.
that's okay. I just wanted to give you a heads up.
No,
Okay,
no,
thank
thank
you,
you
Beth.
very much, Beth.
So real quick, I would say he can camera it. If it fails, I want the cover ripped off. But if
Okay,
it
'cause
passes,
what we did was we created an inspection board,
fine, okay,
and then it passed.
okay,
And then we put,
that's fine.
we
I know.
put a cement, like a paver essentially over it. Which,
Okay. Should have
and
got a cover at Pine Tree, $35.
that's exactly, yeah, but
Yeah.
I told him, I was like, take photos, document all of this in the Title V form,
Fine,
so that, and I was like, as long as it's documented.
fine. In 3 years, it should pass.
Exactly.
Right.
I think they were doing it because they had the for sale sign
Okay.
for the house, so
Well,
I
here's
think
the
they were
thing.
doing it for sale.
Here's the thing they could do. If they pumped it the first 2 consecutive years,
They could just do the pumping records?
yeah, no,
Yeah.
they would not have to do a Title V, even though it's the third. Is it a little bit into third or almost 4?
It was literally like 2020. I think it was, I don't remember the month though.
Okay, well, I'm saying is, I would always say to people, if you come to us and show us you pumped it twice, because pumping is gonna cost you 300 a shot, 350. So that's gonna be the cost of a Title V. But if you pumped it, I'm gonna give you that 3rd year, because I'll say, you know what, it's crazy, whatever.
But if the cover is sealed, how do they pump it?
Well, no, this is the D box. They
The
pump
D
from the
box,
tank.
yeah,
They
Oh,
pump the
okay.
tank, yeah, yeah,
yeah, the D box was sealed, which
Right.
it shouldn't be
John
because
would
you
have
have
to do
to lift the lid of the D box
If
to look
possible,
at it for a
Possible
Title
the
V.
soil is cemented. It's a, what do you call it? A silty sand? No,
It was cemented.
it's cemented, okay.
It was,
Johnny would never do that,
it's in the plans.
okay. Really?
I could show you the plans
Really? Okay.
when we get out of the meeting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
It's in the plans.
I'm gonna say this too, it can't be in groundwater because you can't put a Title V in groundwater.
Yeah, but
Do you have the
it's,
paperwork
okay.
for us?
it's also in the box. Sorry, I should have grabbed that, but it is 7 o'clock.
It is.
We also have iPhone guest, which I'm assuming is Chris in the meeting room, so I'll have to
Perfect.
get her in.
Yeah.
So just give me 2 seconds while I hand this out.
And I'll open the meeting in 1 minute.
Thank you.
And I think this is supposed to be Trish, but Trish is on.
Okay.
So let me get her in here. All right. And Trish is in.
Hello, Trish. Okay, so I'd like to open the meeting for the Bellingham Board of Health for December 5th, 2023. Myself in 40 chair, Vice Chair Trish Leclerc by Zoom, Rick Gilberti, member, Dylan Labonte, agent, Laura Renard, minutes clerk, Beth, town administrator. Okay, so first order of business is the minutes from 7 November. I've read them. Trish, you read them? Okay. Rick, you read?
I read them, they were
Okay.
fine.
Okay,
So I'd like to make a motion that we approve the minutes of the November 7th, 2023.
okay.
All right, I second that.
Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye, opposed.
Aye.
And so carried, thank you. Okay, tobacco and food inspector, do you have any updates from, Robbie?
So I actually threw this on there hoping that Rob would be here.
Okay.
Cause, I was hoping he would kind of be able to give me a different update than myself, but I guess I'll
Okay.
just do it.
Go for it.
As far as I know, tobacco, I believe all of his inspections are complete.
Okay,
And then food, he told me, last time we spoke that all of the food establishments are scheduled out.
okay,
Myself, I'm planning on, I did, Market Basket,
Okay.
which was my first supermarket. I believe it was last week, maybe.
Okay.
I don't know if you remember, Laura, what day we went out, but regardless,
Oh,
went out. We went out, yeah, everything was good,
Okay.
and so, I was gonna go out this week and, complete the other two supermarkets.
Stop and Shop.
Stop and Shop and Whole Foods.
Okay, great. Okay. Okay, back to you again. Health agent
Right.
updates, Walmart fees. Documentation.
Well, just real quick, I didn't get the chance to throw it on here, but I did wanna mention it, cause it was brought up in the last meeting. You guys had asked about, my soil evaluator and septic inspector
go ahead, go
license
for it.
certifications. So I did reach out to NEPOC on the 13th of November, requesting to be put on the next available. They, responded on the 22nd of November, and they put me onto a notification list for the next available SI and SE courses.
Okay. fine.
So, just wanted to let you guys know that. So moving into Walmart, so, I wanted to bring this in front of the board because I'm having as you know, it's permitting season and we're trying to issue permits. And, we recently made amendments to our food establishment and retail food sale, permits where we said that if you are a food establishment, if you cook food. If you handle it, like, for example, Cumberland Farms, they cook it, they handle it, they're a food establishment. So we try to streamline it, so we have RFS is this, FEs is this, supermarkets is this.
Right.
Now Walmart, technically, under our current rules, applied for a retail food sales permit.
Okay.
And that is the correct permit. They do not sell ready to eat hot cooked food.
Correct.
They don't cook anything, right? They'd have a Subway
Subway
there.
does,
Subway
but they get their own
Separate.
permit.
Correct. Subway is their own separate place. Now, last year, they were a retail food store that was, I'm not sure what the risk was, but they paid $350 for their permit.
Mhm.
So my question is, I'm kind of at a loss for how I should build this.
Okay.
So
What would it
option
fall
A,
into now? You'd say it fall into.
so option A,
Right.
it is an RFS across the board,
Right.
and they are billed as an RFS.
Right.
An RFS only pays $200 and only gets 2 inspections per year.
Correct.
Personally, I don't know if that's enough inspections for a place like Walmart, because unlike a convenience store,
Yeah.
while they technically do have the same types of items, when we're speaking purely volume.
Right.
That inspection is going to take me longer. There's more things to check out. And it's a more frequently shopped, we've had more issues there, and I think that they should receive more inspections.
Okay.
Can we make inspections without it affecting the permit money? Can you just say, okay, instead of the 2, I'm gonna make it 4 in a year?
Well, that's the thing. That's why I wanted to ask the board, because I was under the impression that these costs are based on per inspection.
They are based on.
So I wasn't sure if we could, I wanted to figure out.
In other words, you get 2 inspections. Technically, it used to be 100 for that type of permit. Now the state made it 2, so it's 200. That's the way we did it.
Yeah, so that
So we
covers,
got rid of the 100, it became 2, was it 4? And then,
our big
Big
one
rate.
is it's 1,000, and that's
okay.
for supermarkets,
Fine.
because
so
they just.
I
redeemed
would
that
say
price.
if they did 350, which would technically be 3 inspections, what, 3.5. I would just say, I would leave it there, because here's the issue. Unlike.
Well, the issue is, right now, Since we changed our fee schedule,
Right.
we have three options.
Right.
$200,
Right.
$400, $1,000.
Right, okay, so leave them at four, the 350 goes to four, just leave them at four.
Okay.
Because I agree you need more inspections there. But
But
not
that's
a
not what the
wall.
rule says under the three that we have. Right now, the rule says 200.
Right now, the rule, it says RFS is 200. That's why I wanted to.
Yeah, so we either have to change the rules.
Okay,
Or we charge them 200 and you do more inspections.
Yeah, okay. No, I agree. That's why I wanted, that's why I
Okay,
needed
okay.
this.
Because we can't say pay more, even though the rule says 200.
I agree, and
okay, so Trish, Rick brought a point up, we reduced it to 200 from the 350. 350 must have been our,
I think that was
Okay,
because it
got it.
used to be risk-based, and like I
Risk-based,
said, we
okay,
changed
fine.
our permitting fee schedule
right,
to now RFS is this.
How long does it take you to do a Walmart, an inspection? What did it take you?
That's the other thing, I haven't gotten a chance to do that inspection, but off of just pure judgment, I'd say at least an hour.
yeah.
Yeah, I'd keep it at the 200. That's my
Okay.
opinion.
No, I
But
think, I
would you-
think that
would
that's
do- I
smart,
would
that's
do
why,
what you said though, 3
Yeah.
inspections, correct?
I would do more than 2 inspections.
okay.
So
I
why don't
think
you do
if
it
you
this way?
could do- I would say 4 a year.
So so
Well,
the board is
if you need
okay with
4
me doing
Okay,
additional inspections beyond
Yeah.
the quote unquote permitted
Well, I
cost?
think Walmart is like an exception.
Well, not only
So-
that, but also cost wise, like, I'm not like Rob, you guys, that cost
correct,
is a bigger deal with Rob because
correct,
that cost is you're paying him.
correct,
Inspections are included in my pay.
correct, yes.
So I think that that's okay.
Okay.
I just wanted to
Now, would
see what what we
Walmart
thought.
follow with you?
Beth, what do you think? Well, we don't have.
Sorry, I had to find the microphone. So you're looking to do additional inspections?
Yes,
Correct, and reduce the fee now because we created a retail food service or permit. In other words, they don't
they
prepare
don't
any
cook
food,
any
they don't
food.
cook any food. So he would be checking expiration dates,
Temperatures,
temperatures,
um,
yeah, like in the refrigerators.
On the
they have a
basis,
very,
yeah.
they have a
How-
very big.
How are you
refrigerator.
going to implement this, Benny? Are you going to have to go through town meeting, by law? What do you have to do?
Well,
No,
I don't,
it's part of
well,
our food, the food establishment regs we created when we hired our contractors. Prior to that, the health agent did everything. And we really didn't say like, here's how many times you're gonna do it. We just said, you go by complaints and you go by, let's say, food that's potentially hazardous foods. So Mike Graff, that we go back far back. Once Mike left us, we decided to go to contractors. So we'd hired a whole bunch of other health agents from Medway, Franklin, and
Right.
others, you know, to do it. So we said we need to pay them $75 per inspection. A re-inspection is another 75. And so in other words, we have to set up a schedule of fees to go along with the permit. The permit
Agree.
be
I
like,
would think I would recommend that you come up with the fees based on, like you said, one, food organization's not cooking,
right,
but Dylan is checking expiration. And my recommendation would be take it to the board.
Okay.
And I mean, granted, the Board of Health has regulations over that, but
right.
just to make sure that there's no dissent, and concern about the fact that the fees being set up. That would be my recommendation.
Okay.
So,
the other
so
quick-
I think, so I understand the whole cooking and everything, but it's a bigger store and, we did that. The fees based on how big the store is, how long it might take you, how many inspections you have to do. So when we did the fees before, it was nothing about cooking. So I don't know that we would change the fee. I don't think we would lower it. I think we'd just keep it as is. And if Dylan's out and Robbie or somebody else has to do it, we still have to pay those people.
Correct. Okay. That's a good point. Okay.
So I would, personally, I would not lower the fee, I would just keep it as is.
Would
Maybe
you,
if we.
would you increase the ones for the larger places?
Well, so that's typically how it is, because those do take longer, right?
Right.
It's,
We did do that, yes.
One thing I was thinking, and Rob had brought this up, and again, I wish he was here because he worded it so eloquently. But we were thinking of doing something based on square footage of maybe refrigeration space.
Mhm.
So, because what this issue kind of boils down to is that Walmart is essentially a huge convenience store.
Correct. Yeah.
Like, they're selling the same products as, say,
Humvees.
Cumbies,
Yeah.
but the issue is that it's on a larger scale. It's the scale here.
Yeah.
So what Rob and I were thinking was, and I don't know if we would be able to do it this year, because we already did a lot of
No.
shifting with our fees, so it might be
Right.
something that we would have to implement for next year.
Correct.
It's also very late, so.
Right, right.
But we were thinking of doing it more so based off of, you have X amount of refrigeration space, like our retail food stores.
Okay.
Like, we have a retail food store one that has over this amount, and retail food store two
Two,
has
okay.
under this
Okay,
amount.
so we would make that fee based on.
Yeah, and
square
so
footage.
if you have over it, you would pay more because you have more items. And if
Correct.
you have under it, you would pay less
Right.
for less items. So,
the only thing is, I mean, I don't know that it makes sense to try to lower fees. Maybe hold them at this fee.
well, by lower, it
increase.
would basically be staying the same, and
Right.
by. Like basically, like right now, RFS, the fee is 200,
Correct,
right? And
Mhm.
so it wouldn't drop, it would basically be convenience stores would stay at 200 and Walmart would be 350. And
Okay.
stores like Walmart that are big convenience stores would be also be 350. Not that I think that there's any other ones, but
Right.
that's kind of what I'm getting at. We wouldn't lower them,
Okay.
because I agree with you, Trish. It
Okay.
would just be written in that there is that addition, so that way it doesn't look like, oh, why did you change that fee for that one store? Because, like, behind our backs, like, I would want it in writing that is,
right.
we, like, it is this, it is that,
Okay.
kind of, you know what I'm?
So
Yeah.
I agree, with Trish, and originally I said to you, I said, well, we'll just leave them at the 350. Now, if the 350, because I don't know how we came up with that number last year, is really truly a 4, which I think we just make it a 4 and call them that establishment that's in between our retail food one. I'm sure they're not gonna complain, but in other words, we have a justification.
Yeah,
It isn't, as Rick was gonna say, well, it's based on inspections, you just do more inspections for a lower fee. But they're not like a Cumbies or, trying to think of the other one that we have out there.
Rusty
Little
Lantern,
General.
or, yeah, Little
Rusty-
General, well, but
Right.
those are both FEs, so those
Yeah.
are bad
Yeah, those are bad.
explanations.
Rusty Land. let's say,
Yeah,
or something,
maybe,
yeah.
or like, more so like a
Speedway?
mobile speedway,
Speedway,
Yes.
yes.
yeah,
Okay, so I think we leave those. And
at 200.
at the 200, and the other one is clearly bigger, so it's gonna take more time. And again, more than likely right now, the Walmart, if it was a super Walmart, it'd be a supermarket, that'd be you. But
All
right
day
now,
long,
it's
yeah.
Robbie, so Robbie's getting paid per inspection, and I'd say.
And that was the other thing,
he's
because
gonna
a few
do
years
probably
ago,
3 inspections.
a few years ago, because I was looking into the history
Right,
of this fee, of this particular permit.
right,
A few years ago, they applied for an FE and paid $1,000.
right, yeah, they did,
And then before that, it was even less. I mean,
Right,
that's,
right.
that's going 2 back.
right,
But either way, this store in particular has been a weird fee schedule.
right, well, when Mike grabbed Path, we had to like just lump them all in, even in those days. We took that plaza, we said market basket, Walmart. You know, Whole Foods wasn't around,
Yeah.
Stop and Shop, they're $1,000.
Yep.
And maybe it was wrong in those days, but that's the way we did it.
So what I'm getting from the board is that we keep the fee currently where it's at 350. That's
Okay.
what I charge
Yeah.
them.
And that's
And we move forward with issuing them an RFS for $350.
correct. And then I would say, do at least 3, so if you want to do it in thirds of the year, or if you want to do 4, as Rick said, and do it quarterly.
Okay.
You know.
Yep.
In the case of.
How-
Go ahead.
How many inspections do we do at Walmart? Is it 3 or is it 4? per
think
year.
it's 3 right now.
So okay. Cause it's usually what,
Just-
$75? It's usually $75 an inspection, and then, let me just figure this out. I think it
Well,
was
it's $350
$75
divided by
an inspection
3,
is what we were
100.
doing, and then Robbie would tell us like,
Yeah.
if he needed to do another inspection because they had issues or something, then it would be another $75. So I think we kind of figured it out like that too.
Yeah, that's exactly how it
So
works.
that we were never behind, because it was 1 year supposedly, and I think it actually might have been an error in the end, but we didn't have enough funding.
Sure.
Whether the food permits didn't work out, or that we were doing too many inspections because of COVID or something like that happened. So we definitely want to make sure we have more money than not enough for
Good.
inspection.
Trish, in those days too, our revolving fund was 35, now it's 50, and tobacco's like 25 or 35. So we have more than enough money right now, and I agree that hopefully every time you go for an inspection, it doesn't involve a re-inspection, because now the 75 is 150, and if you do that times 3, it's $500, and if we're getting 4, we're losing money, but we do have money in
And I'm
the,
pretty sure that's how we figured it out.
that is exactly what we're figuring out, you're right.
Yeah.
So I
That's how we
think we-
figured it
we-
out.
Well, if Dylan goes out, like he said, that's included in his weekly pay, so
It
we don't
is.
really have to worry about that extra money.
Correct, but let's just.
Correct, but unless Dylan that is included, but if for some reason he's out and someone else has to do inspections,
Oh,
well, now
okay.
that's not accounted for.
Right.
So I think we
And
leave
things
it,
happen, so you gotta be proactive.
right, I think we leave it the way Dylan said, and Laura, you can send those fee things out if they're not already out, before the end of the year, and then they have till 31 January, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll pass over that,
All
or
right,
not pass over. Let's go to the next item, which is Family Dollar, 15 North Main Street.
so this one's
Oh.
fun. So, to give you guys kind of, I'll try and make it brief, but, buckets are gone. That have been the
Good.
issue since before I
July.
started.
Okay.
That grease trap that I also was having issue with,
Right.
that's gone.
Perfect.
So finally got those removed, so that's a positive here.
Right.
Now to get into the nitty gritty.
Okay.
So I don't know if you guys have been made aware, but luckily it hasn't happened in a little while, but I guess this was actually before I had even started over the summer. There was significant flooding going on at that lot. The two stores that were hit the hardest were Family Dollar as well as TC Performance. TC Performance being the gym that
Oh, the gym, okay.
the key in, and Family Dollar, obviously, everybody knows Family Dollar. So Family Dollar currently is dealing with, they have a mice issue. They have water damage from previous floods. They have potential, emphasize potential mold underneath the front mat. I didn't see any, but that store has flooded multiple times and that mat has not moved.
Probably
And
does.
so it probably does. As well as the back walls, because the way that it actually flooded in their back room, they were explaining to me that it was coming in through the walls.
Mhm.
So I have fear that there could be some dampness in between the walls.
Yeah.
And the workers reported difficulty breathing shortly after the flooding, but they did say that it has since improved. As far as TC Performance, they've reported similar issues. They've ripped out multiple floors. They have no mice that I know of, but they have reported a bug issue. I reported all of these issues over to my contact, Anthony at VTT. He said that I guess the TC Performance thing was settled with the tenant, and that per their lease, that the tenants are responsible for flooring, pest control, and items within the unit.
Okay,
So
okay,
I made the suggestion to Family Dollar. And I'm probably going to end up making the same suggestion to TC Performance, and I wanted to run it by the board of after the holidays. They'll have to close down, call an exterminator to remove all mice and rat or bugs. And then they're going to they're additionally, unfortunately, gonna have to call someone in and determine if there is mold underneath that floor mat and in their back room, because they haven't gotten the chance to clean out that back room significantly enough to expose any potential mold. And, they're basically gonna have to close and clean up, but I didn't feel totally comfortable closing them going into the holiday season.
No, I would definitely.
From the standpoint of workers being out of the job going into the holidays, as well as it's the holidays and they're a store, so they're going to have a dramatic increase of funding, and I think that would be kind of wrong to cut
Yeah,
down.
definitely, I wouldn't do that.
So what I was thinking is like potentially, like, I mean, New Year, we do this, we order them to close and, to clean up.
Okay.
So what do we
Have you
think of
talked
that
to
plan?
them already about these are the problems coming up?
They were the ones who reported them to me, and so I've been working closely with a lot of people at this place. Unfortunately, it seems like a lot of them are hoping that I'm gonna be some sort of, like saving grace for them, and they're reporting a lot of issues. But a lot of their issues are civil with the management.
Management, yeah.
And so I wanted to help them in whatever way I could, only to realize that upon discovering issues, that it actually falls back on them, and now they have to be addressed because it's Board of
Right,
Health.
right.
And they understand that?
Yes,
Okay.
now they do. Family Dollar does. I've been communicating with them back and forth through email. The good thing with Family Dollar as opposed to TC Performance is that Family Dollar is of course corporate, so corporate takes on the cost of that.
Fine.
But the gym, it's privately owned and the woman's been hit pretty hard, so, but I mean, it's
Would you say the
also,
gym though, it doesn't have pests at this point?
it doesn't have pests, but she did report like bugs coming out of her outlets. So I'm like, that could be insect infestation.
Right.
Exterminator.
Okay, yeah, they have that, but
Have
that usually, if it's an outlet, if it's internal walls, they don't have to close down. They come in, they put a little hole and they put you on a contract.
That one, I don't know if, I don't think they'll have to close down, but I think Family Dollar, just
Yeah.
because of the severity,
They have to
as
move
well
all
as
that
they're
stuff.
gonna have to remove everything. They'll have to close to do that, but yeah, all
Why
right,
don't we notify them now that after the
Exactly.
first of the year,
Right,
this
right.
is what's gonna happen?
yep. That was my exact plan. I just wanted to ensure
there's
that
no
that
problem.
was a
And then
good idea across the board.
I would suggest where the walls are leaking, weeping water. That's the owner of the establishment. He requires, his building has to be excavated away, either 40 mil barrier or ugly. It has to dry completely, some kind of waterproofing compound.
Well, they're interior walls,
Oh, yeah, but the budding,
so I don't
the
know if
outside
they'll,
soil,
which is, no,
no, okay.
which is why it's gonna come down to, I'm afraid it'll be like, that's the tenant,
Okay,
so.
well, no, it's structure though, it's structure. Tenant's responsible for everything around it. Anything electrical, anything plumbing, anything coming from inside the walls,
Yeah,
not the tenant's problem, unless the tenant had, let's say, rodents or bugs in their food that were going and taking the material to eat or store and putting it into nests in the walls, then that would be different, like if you had cockroaches.
yeah, yep, okay.
But you can exterminate a cockroach, you can exterminate.
Have they solved the problem of the water coming in though? Or is it gonna continue to happen?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Well, that's the other thing. I
already
was
know the
told
answer. Yes, I know.
that it was fixed.
Yeah.
And that it hasn't happened since. And the issue is all of the reason why it floods is that the drain is directly in front of the Family Dollar.
Right.
There's an additional drain, there's an alley right next to Family Dollar, there's a second drain there.
Yeah.
In that
But
alley.
that one's too little, too late.
That one's too little, too late, it's just, it's bent in, it's filled with leaves, that one's kind of gone.
Yeah.
This one, however, is the one that was causing all these issues. People reported it and they jetted it and they then hired someone
Yeah.
to
Listen to this.
hand mix concrete in a Home Depot bucket and then pour it over it to seal it back down,
Yeah.
and that was their solution. The
I think-
unfortunate thing is, this is privately owned, so we can't, it's not DPW,
Yeah,
it's not,
right, yeah.
we
It's
can't,
not- it
like,
doesn't go to-
there's nothing we can
Doesn't
do
go to
about
storm
it.
sewer. However, though, it does
Technically,
technically though.
it has not flooded since.
Okay, fine.
Okay,
I think what we can
So,
say is though.
I think they're okay.
Yeah.
As long as they stay up on the jetting.
I would say they're probably okay, but maybe just reach out to Jesse and say, listen, that storm drain is probably real old. Right now with MS4 regulations, you know. The detention basin, all the basins now have to have, what do you call it, like separators
Mhm.
in any new development, but you could force that if that goes directly to Charles. That's groundwater contamination.
I think it does to the Charles
It
River
does, it
Basin.
does, I'm sure it
Yeah,
does.
yeah.
What I'm saying is.
Okay, yeah, we
We
could
sort
definitely
of
look
need
into
to
that.
make sure that. Not so much water goes in there, it's
Other stuff.
other stuff, and if it goes to the thing.
That's
It has to be modernized by whatever, there's a DEP rule on it, so.
Mhm.
You know, Jesse could probably talk to the person who owns the place and say, listen, who does your stormwater maintenance for you? Cause I'm sure there's, hope some, if there is none, then he can force that issue. And
Yeah.
secondarily, we can too, under groundwater protection.
From what I understand, they only have like a maintenance guy who's a young kid.
Yeah,
Um,
but I'm talking,
I'm not sure.
when you're doing stormwater maintenance, you have to have a certain license, I forget what it is,
oh, yeah, I'm not sure,
Yeah.
but
so.
yeah, well,
So we could just put it this way here, you know, maybe photograph it, put it in the folder and say, listen. This happened, tell both of the residents who are, not residents, tenants who are directly in front of it. This happens again, you know, we're about to get some big storms. The other thing we're about to get is, once we get a winter freeze. Let's say, and some of the water might freeze. What do you call it?
Water spin.
The ice, when snow melts, and then we get a heavy rain. It'll probably flow right over.
we're just gonna have to keep an eye on it.
And
Yeah.
jetting is a good idea. Recommendation, best management practices be
Yeah.
followed. Because the next time it fails, you'll have to do more than reset the grate and
Oh,
more.
yeah, definitely.
Okay, great. So this is that's part of the updated plan going forward.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
That's it. That's all that I have for it. so.
Okay, new business, we don't really have any. Old business, as Beth reminded us, tomorrow night, 6 p.m. Zoom only.
Now, seven,
Oh, 7, sorry, 7.
I was gonna say, I
Our
thought it
plan
was
says
7.
7, okay, 6 rather. Okay, 7 o'clock tomorrow night, open meeting law training with KP Law. And Laura, can you make sure that we get the blue highlighted Zoom thing? Because if it's not highlighted, I can't zoom in.
Are you talking about the link?
The link, yeah, make sure the link is functional.
I think I sent it out, but I'll check with Dylan tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.
We'll make sure.
Okay, I did look at it, maybe it is highlighted, but I got it both ways. I got it, my town email, and I got it on
Yeah.
my personal. Okay, great. Okay, employee calendar for December. In the packet,
Yeah, we got a lot of vacations.
okay?
is that allowed?
AKA, AKA Laura.
Okay. Okay. Laura, you gotta catch up on the Christmas shopping, right? Stuff like that, or no? I
Of
should.
course. Why else in December?
Well,
Can you
unless
do
you're,
some of my shopping too while you're off?
I love to shop, so bring it on.
All right.
unless you're a skier in the snow, you don't really wanna take, well, yeah, the snow up north.
Oh, yeah.
So skiers love December, I guess, or November, January. Okay, okay, next item is, Hopper Boulevard, Sergeant Padula emailed. Laura, did we ever get a link on that? The court date was today, so I'm curious whether. Do we have any?
Well,
information?
we didn't have any, we didn't get, well, we didn't. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Okay.
We didn't reach back out because we didn't realize that the court date was today.
Okay, I did
But-
this morning, but that's fine. Okay.
I believe Sergeant Padula said that it was a private meeting,
Oh, okay,
like it was like just,
maybe make a settlement.
yeah,
Okay,
I think
fine.
so.
Okay.
So we'll probably be able to reach out to Sergeant Padula later
Right,
on in the
okay,
week and get information.
Laura, you can just email it to the
Uh,
board.
he, Sergeant Pladula did say that, if he had any new info, he'd let us know as soon as he could.
Okay,
But I will touch base tomorrow with him.
okay, thank you. Okay, Copart parking lot spring monitoring.
So this was, this was the DEP, we had a concerned citizen over at Box Pond, put a complaint in about, potential dust coming up from Copart, which is a business in Mendon.
Right.
Up over Box Pond and, irritating him and other people. So I've recently been talking with, Michelle Del Mar as well as Colleen Straponi. Colleen is the
Health agent.
health agent for Mendon, and Michelle is our contact at the DEP.
Right.
And we came up with the plan of, we went out on a site visit to Copart. It looked very clean. There wasn't a lot of dust, but we also agreed that we're just gonna have to monitor it come spring because it's not gonna be an issue in the winter when it's wet and cold.
Right.
It's gonna be if it is an issue, it's gonna become an issue when it's hot and dry.
Correct.
So that was just kind of more so for myself, but also to let you guys know what I'm doing.
That's fine.
That I'll be doing that in the spring. I'll have
Perfect,
to
okay.
monitor that property and
Okay.
ensure that there's no
Yep.
dust coming over Box Pond.
Okay.
With that, this is kind of a perfect little segue into the next thing. So in going to that site visit with Michelle from the DEP, Michelle casually dropped and said, "Hey Dylan, you heard of John's Used Auto Parts over on 85 Hartford Ave?" And I said, "No, Michelle, I don't think I have."
Okay.
And upon looking it up, I realized I have. And
It's been going on for years.
I understand this has been a years upon years issue. He's been grandfathered in zoning.
Correct.
It's every single department in here gets called down. But at this point, now that Michelle knows that I'm new, young Board of Health led, she's like, perfect, we're getting to the bottom of this.
Correct.
So I already notified, we had an interdepartmental meeting this morning, and I notified the other department heads that I'm going to be doing this.
And this
because-
is the junkyard.
Yeah,
Yes.
the junkyard across from Bonnie or now the office.
Yeah, it's like.
The
office.
owners down there had changed in the last couple of years.
They have, but the problem is they're still grandfathered because of.
The ownership changes and they're still grandfathered?
The property
The property
itself
is grandfathered, not
is
the
like-
owners.
I don't
Trust me.
even, I don't really understand it.
There were health people that worked at the base like 20 years ago. They used to say, "Vinny, how can you let this happen to Board of Health?" I said, "I tried." We had
Yeah.
DEP down there for decontaminated for wells. They decontaminated some of the soil.
Yeah, they got a lot of,
Yeah, you know.
there's a lot of issues between a lot of different departments. So I just wanted to let you guys know that that's gonna be a project that I'm gonna be working on
Yeah.
between myself, Michelle from DEP, as well as other department heads going into the
Okay.
new year.
Well, that sounds
Yeah,
good.
I mean, Michelle is a great person for air quality and she'll also reach out to her counterpart in Bureau of Resource Protection, which is more. If it's not in the air and it's in water or fuel, whatever, once it hits the ground,
It's
the other
his,
department picks up Bureau of Resource Protection.
that makes sense.
Well,
and
I've noticed
soil.
in the last year,
Yeah.
way more vehicles are down there
Yeah,
than
Yeah.
what used to be.
Oh,
And you
yeah.
can't even drive in there very much
Right, right.
anymore.
When I stopped by there, I stopped there after my site visit.
Yeah.
I couldn't even pull in.
Yeah,
yeah.
You can't even pull off to the side. They're storing cars and that's a
Okay.
zoning issue.
well,
Right,
and they're
right,
also
right.
putting cars out on the road
On the
itself.
road.
Well, exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's the zoning issue.
Right, but I think
And I've
they move
noticed
one
that
during
just
the day
driving
and then they
by.
move back in the night.
No, no, I get that.
Yeah,
I
I
get
know, but
that.
they're doing that. They're using the shoulder of the road, which is town property, as extra.
So
okay.
it's definitely a police matter, it's a board of health matter, it's a town matter.
Yeah,
And
so-
even fire as well,
Oh, yeah,
zoning.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of contaminants there. So
So the
yeah.
thing that basically happened is, I agree, I think it was maybe 7 years ago or some 10 years ago, maybe 7. They sold it. The cars were almost dwindled down. The guy was crushing, get rid of metal. Cars went in value, he got rid of them. But then a new person moved in and I've only gone there a few times. I said, Only Toledo. They're stacked up now everywhere.
Oh, yeah, there's a
Yeah,
lot.
no, in the last year, I've gone in a couple times for parks.
Yeah.
I couldn't even pull in the last
Yeah,
time I
yeah.
went
You got to
down.
park on the road.
I had to park on the
Yeah.
road, and there wasn't even a lot of spots on the road, so,
Right.
do what we have to do.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly.
Keep up on them and that's it. Okay, so we have no bill? Okay, so we have no other stuff?
Yeah, I think
I have
that's it.
nothing, you have nothing else on good and fair, good and well?
I make a motion that we adjourn.
Okay. Chris, second,
I second that.
all in favor,
Good
say aye.
job, guys.
Opposed, things are carried, okay. See you on the 12th, I guess.
Is it the
No.
12th?
Oh,
No, it's
14th,
the
19th, yeah.
19th, I
Okay.
believe. See you all on the 19th?
Barring no bad weather and, like nothing on the agenda. Tonight was a light
There's
agenda.
not a lot on the agenda, maybe